Hey everybody, this is Jo. I'm here in my Houston, Texas garden on a rainy day in the beginning of May, and I'm going to give you a little walk around my backyard garden. I'm starting on this beautiful Felicia rose. This is a climbing rose, and I've shown this in a couple of videos. I've talked about training climbing roses, and so I just wanted to show you. Just probably 10 days ago, I did a video that showed these new canes, and I just wanted to show you how enormous they have already gotten. You can see on this one, everything's floppy from the rain. This one, it flowers on new growth at the end. And so what we want, we're training these will have flowers on the end, and I will then, now that these are so big, I will train these off to the side to cover this part of the wall, and they will get new growth hopefully along each little node and get new flowers all along that. The other thing, we have the beginning of this video is going to have a theme which is called Things That Grow Quickly. Here is my passion vine that I just put in a couple of months ago, and this is a host for Gulf fritillary butterflies, and it will have fabulous funky purple flowers. But look how big it got. Oh my gosh, so fast. So I'll show you on my third little bit of things that grow quickly. I'm going to show you this Cecile Brunner rose. Now, I put this in a couple of months ago, and I have been training it up this trellis, and it was just a little bush, when I bought it. And look at this incredible growth. It's already past its trellis and going up, ready to go on the garage. And I'm really excited to see the flowers on that. And good old Mrs. B.R. Cant is getting ready to bloom again. And it's my favorite climbing rose. Oh, here's a reason to not pass up the sad bin at Lowe's or Home Depot, the big box stores. This incredible verbena, like 2 weeks ago, I got for 99 cents. All it needed was water, but it was on the sort of cart with all the things that were nearly dead. But you just look at it a little closely, and you can find things that are worth a second look. Just need a little water, something like that, a little trim, and they pop right back out to life. Now everything, I love April and May. Everything is so tall and big and floaty, and if I could make it look like this all year long, I would. But in Houston, of course, this stuff isn't going to survive when it's 110 degrees outside. So April and May are my sort of floaty English cottage garden look to my garden. But then I'll have workhorses that'll get the garden beautifully through the rest of the year. So I let a few things that self-seeded grow in the gravel, and that is a lemon mint or a monarda. That's just the wildflower. It's not a named variety, not a cultivar. And I love that I just left a couple just to see what they would do. And they're kind of in my way a little bit, but still worth it. And here's my crazy, oh my gosh, look at it. This is my zucchini, and there's actually two in here. I definitely should take one of these out because they don't need to share this giant little pot. But I hate thinning things out, as all gardeners do, I'm sure. Now everything's a little bit beaten down from the rain, but still looking beautiful. Oh, there's Miss Doubtfire. She knew. Hi, you're getting wet out here, baby. But all of this Amante salvia is sort of all flopping over in the rain, but I think it sure looks pretty like this. Let's see if I can get back here. Isn't that beautiful? And I just think it looks so pretty like that. And it's hiding my new little buddleia back there. And I'm gonna climb through. So one of the things that's been so fun is these poppies that I put in. And they really, I guess, need support because they have been so floppy. Oh, I'm gonna get so wet climbing back here. This is the consequences of my own actions right here, is trying to get past all of this. First of all, look at the seed head. I just love poppy seed heads. They're so cool. And it'll just become like a little salt shaker when it dries. You can just turn it upside down and sprinkle seeds everywhere. Well, of course, they're all knocked down in the rain, but they weren't standing up much before the rain. I think this is one of the poppies called a purple peony poppy. And they're so fabulous. Look at that. And gosh, they really are. They're just broken down by the rain, but and they've fallen down so much. I really think next year I'm gonna try to figure out a support for them. But they're so cool. So I'm not quite the poppy queen yet, because you can see they're kind of yellow and they're all laying down on the ground. But it makes me happy. It's certainly worth it, and worth another try next year to have one that stands upright. See if I can figure out how to do that. All these fantastic coneflowers. So pretty. That's pretty parasols. This is the one that, well, I mean, now I'm looking at it, this sort of looks like pretty parasols, but look at on the same plant, this big solid pink. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see. Sort of a little, this came up from seed, and so I don't really know whether it's a pretty parasol or whether I have my own sort of little hybrid going. But I love it. It's so fun. And here it is looking so nice with the carrots in here. And it's been funny, I picked a bunch of, these are just carrots I'd gotten in the grocery store, and I picked a bunch of different carrots. And so some of them are taller than others, and they have a little bit of different shape than others. And so it's been kind of funny to see what you get. And of course, I have no idea what carrot I planted where. The cleomes are so fab. And this year, I just let them self-sun. I didn't actually plant any cleome plants this year. You can see how many seed pods. And they just make, the seed pods start down here, and they just, the bloom stalk gets taller and taller and makes more and more seeds. And so they just self-seed everywhere. And I have just weeded out what I didn't want. I'm gonna get back here. I wanna show you. Oh, see, everything has fallen over. This is, down in here, this is that Agastache Tutti Frutti. Isn't that pretty? What a pretty color. And it has gotten a little beaten down in the rain. We had some heavy rain earlier today. But I have got a few more growing. They're kind of happy here. And I bought a few more at the store. I saw some at the store this week, and I just couldn't stop myself. So I bought some more, and I'm gonna put them in other places in the garden. I'll try not to step on this little thing. And then, of course, the black and blue salvia. Look at that. I mean, that is worth growing, but if you've got a little flower bed that has edges on it where it cannot ramble around, I would recommend this, or in a pot. I have some growing in a pot in the front yard, and it's okay. It doesn't look fantastic in a pot, but it looks pretty good. One of the things I've been so impressed with, I've never had any success growing larkspur. It's just a wildflower, and I have several come up, and I just didn't realize the staying power of the larkspur. It has bloomed and bloomed for probably a month or maybe even more, and so I'm loving that. I've got a few cosmos coming up, and this Amy in the midst of everything, and that bachelor button there. And then finally, I've got some sort of coral zinnias popping up in here. So this is really filled in right here. I've got my single Verbena bonariensis, which is about as tall as I am at 5'6". It's self-seeded here. I bought some a year ago, 2 years ago. They were not happy with me here. And so I don't know where this thing came from. It must have been sort of laying in wait for, you know, a year or two. And here you can see what I mean by all the seed heads on this cleome. It's just bananas. So I'm kind of pulling them up like weeds. And then you can see in the background this beautiful Monarda, that Peter's purple, has come out this week to play. And then the big boy, excuse me, Salvia Big Blue has come up right in there. Now let's see if I can climb my way back out without stepping on any of these little pretties. Oh, you know, I planted some pale yellow and some white sunflowers. Does that look pale yellow to you? No. At least I've got a tag on it, so I'll know what not to plant next year, because that is not the yellow I wanted. The seed packet was a little bit misleading, I think. All right, I'll pass all these. I'm gonna go through here because it looks less treacherous. Do you guys have this where you wonder where you're gonna put your feet? You think I should make a little path in here, but you never do? That's what I do. This is that favorite little zinnia. Somebody asked me the name of it. I don't know the name of it, but I have found it. I bought some more zinnias and I thought they were the same, and I think they have turned out. The difference is they have a skinny little leaf. And so if you are looking for a little white zinnia, look for the skinny leaves, and maybe that'll be the same one. It's my favorite one. It does so well. Oh, I'm going to show you, before I go too far, my little Texas bluebonnet, which are lupins. You can see the little dregs of one there. And if you're wondering why it's called a bluebonnet, oh, I don't have any. These aren't very good to show you. I'll show you in a minute. But I'm letting them go to seed. And so I've got so many seed heads. And, you know, I just kind of look around for which ones will pop open. They'll pop by themselves, of course. But I go around and squeeze them. These are all wet, but they have, I'll show you if I can get it open with one hand. The little seeds just look like little stones, and I just let them self-seed everywhere. If you are going to grow Texas bluebonnets, I recommend that you throw your seeds out in September or October. They need some weather. They have a very thick seed head, and they need some time out in the weather to germinate. And so, you know, you want to give them some time outside. And so I would just put them out in the fall. This is a little cosmos I'm growing called rubenza, and I wanted some of that deep maroon in there. I'm happy with the rubenza, but it does fade. They fade to kind of a weird color. This one's not so bad, but they kind of fade to a weird color. So, you know, the jury is still out on that. Of course, the fantastic, this is the fennel, and the fennel flowers are so beautiful. And then the parsley, and they're a little lighter yellow. Oh, these really great. They're sort of getting covered up. So everything is hanging over because of the rain. That is powwow wild berry coneflower, and I really like it as well. I've got some of that in the front yard as well, and I think that's a good variety. It doesn't get much bigger than that, maybe 12 to 18 inches high, but it really blooms well. I've got some great daylilies coming out. And my dahlia is getting a little bud on it. I'm excited. Oh, and here, I can finally get a really good look at the Joe Pye weed. I didn't realize it was going to be so fringy looking. I think it's awesome. I just love that. Now I've got, this is a big winner for me right now, this Stokes aster, and it's just been gorgeous for weeks. I'll be interested to know how long the bloom season is for that. And my little pink skullcap, my little native skullcap, and the Stokes aster is native to Texas as well. And look at that cute little flower on the skullcap. I'm a big fan. I hope this does well. Then I've got a couple of gigantic coneflowers. These that are, what, 3.5 feet tall, I bought last fall as 3 or 4 inch pots, and they had like 3 plants in each pot. And I had no idea how big they were gonna get. And so I'm super thrilled with this. And then I've got this one crazy monster coneflower right there. I don't know what variety it is, but that is one plant right there. Crazy. Excuse me. I've got the sedum, what's it called? Autumn something. It'll come to me in a minute. The sedum's looking really nice out here. It did not do well in the ground for me. Excuse me, my goodness. It's done well in Autumn Joy, sedum Autumn Joy. It's done well in a pot for me. Oh, let's see. Let me take you back. You can see I've got this is my native milkweed. I still have yet to see a monarch butterfly, look at it twice. I'm very offended by the monarchs ignoring my milkweed. And there's another Mrs. B. Arcant that's coming out. And here is my volunteer tomato. I put out my own compost that I made myself. And you can already see the tomatoes on it back there. The tomatoes I bought and planted, not that happy. I've got tomatoes like this, volunteers all over the yard, and it's kind of ridiculous. Oh, here's where I can give you the example of, if you're not from Texas and you don't know why on earth this is called the Texas bluebonnet, think about what Laura Ingalls Wilder's bonnet looked like. And that is sort of the same shape as a little bonnet. Got the hyacinth bean vine that's super easy to grow from seed. This is its first bloom, so pretty. And then this is the Texas kidneywood, and it's blooming, and it's got such pretty flowers. And I'm going to drag you all the way back here because I want to show you what that arrowwood viburnum finally looks like now that it has bloomed. Look how pretty. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm so excited because it's going to have not only this but also berries. Here's another volunteer tomato. I finally just gave it a support because I didn't know what else to do with all my supports. Look at that. So this is what happens when you have use your own compost, is that you get volunteer tomatoes everywhere. Everywhere. Miss Doubtfire knows that it is raining. It's raining. You're going to stay on the patio. She's a smart one. She's a smart little cookie. Okay, y'all are going to laugh. So I've had these for years, and I got some more from my sister's garden. She's pulling them up like weeds, and I was like, I couldn't bear for these plants to get chucked. And so I planted them. And of course, they're orange. My nemesis. This is Crocosmia. Look at how many. This is bananas. They're very floppy. I haven't really figured out how to support them well. But look at that. Isn't that amazing? And I've had one or two over the years, one or two flowers over the years, but this is crazy. I think last year I just cut them all off and put them in a vase so that they were in the house and beautiful in the house and not orange in the garden. I've got a little bit of the Peter's Purple Monarda going here, but this is in this is a very shady side, and so I just have a few, and you can see the more that it's in the sun, it's blooming earlier. And Cousin It, my favorite grass, has started. Uh-oh, I kicked this over as I walked through. There's Cousin It with its beautiful inflorescences. I just think it's beautiful. I've got my one. I moved this whole patch of agapanthus with a little iris in the middle last fall, and so I've got one that's gonna bloom for me, but I'm not sure. I don't think they like to be moved, and so I'm not really sure about whether that's gonna happen this year. And then let me take you back here. Clump through here. So I have this foxglove here that's kind of run out. You know, I think I'm gonna have a few more little flowers. Look how pretty. I'm gonna have a few more little spikes, little stalks, but mostly I think this is pretty close to being finished. And so I'm gonna have an empty space. Now I've planted, these are I did from seed. This is a Nicotiana called Lavender Cloud. That's supposed to get pretty big, but I don't know if, you know, I've never grown it. I don't know how well it's gonna do. But I saw at the store some little $3.99 pots of that Gulf Coast penstemon, which is such a winner. And I think this is sort of the same amount of sun and shade over here. So I bought a bunch of little ones, and when I pull this out, I will probably put them in. I think that, you know, I love having this foxglove. It's a lot of work for not a lot of flowers. This is the second year I've done foxgloves, and I could do them again, but I think if I can get this started, this is beautiful. It was beautiful all year. And they're teeny tiny little versions of this, honestly. So this may be my last try with these. They're okay. They're a lot of trouble, and they just don't bloom very long. So I'll just take one more look. Look how beautiful. This was so pretty yesterday when I thought about making this video, but I didn't. I let another little Monarda self-seed back here, and it's been really pretty, but it's all knocked down from the rain. Well, you can hear it starting to rain a little harder on me. I'm loving all the pretty little white flowers that I've got in here. And my friend Rachel from Gulf Coast Butterfly Gardening, she has a fabulous YouTube channel. I think these are freesias, and she asked me if they smelled like anything, and they do not. They just smell like nothing, which is a shame. I wish I could figure out whether those are really freesias or not. I kind of think they are. But I'm liking this little floaty, you know, white flowers in here. And the shade's looking so pretty. And I put another, my third support back there that I used last year, and it wasn't successful. But I've got a huge volunteer tomato back there that's got tomatoes all over. This is full shade, people. Tomatoes growing in the full shade. And they're like 5 feet long. Oh, now here's where I bought some more of this Tutti Frutti Agastache, and I haven't quite figured out where I'm gonna put it. But I've got a little empty spot here. And then I've got a little empty spot here and there. And I know, like this, I sort of passed this by. Look at this incredible Monarda. That's Peter's Purple. Goodness, I apologize, you guys. It's beautiful, Peter's Purple. And finally, some decent zinnias back there. But this is only going to bloom for a couple of weeks, and then it's just going to be green. But I know that this stuff will bloom longer than that. And it is such a perfect color match. Look at the color match. It is like the perfect match. And so I'm gonna put this here so that at least I can have a little bit more color popping up, because I have purple and white over here, and a pale pink here. That is Souvenir de la Malmaison, which is a beautiful rose. Let's see, is this one open? Everything's so floppy in the rain. So beautiful though. And so if I want to have another pop of this color, I may tuck this in. And this carrot, like I was talking about, how the different carrots look different. This thing, oh my gosh, is so tall. They're just enormous flower heads. Look at that thing. I mean, holy moly. And I wish I knew what variety of carrot this was that I bought at the grocery store. But I know eventually this carrot is going to poop out, and pretty soon, you know, in the next month or so, maybe less, it's going to poop out. But this will last longer, and I can put it in here and maybe add some height and some color right here. So I'm always thinking ahead, like, okay, what's going to replace the color that this is holding in this garden? What's going to replace the color and height that this is holding in the garden? And so I'm trying to think about in the future so I can have things as pretty as I can and as many flowers as I can throughout the year. I am particularly loving this combo of the purple salvia and this pink monarda, and I think that's such a nice combo. Oh, before I go too far, I'm not very organized today, am I? So y'all have heard me complain about these Gulf mealy grasses just not bouncing back. So I trimmed them sort of underneath them. I trimmed this one. Mrs. Doubtfire keeps walking on that one. She's not helping me. But it was such a huge brown gap, you know, with all this beautiful color all around it, and then just nothing. So I took that pot that was my placeholder. It's got gomphrena in it and a little bit of phlox, and it was my placeholder when I had that dead buddleia last year. So I've popped it in here. I'm hoping at least give us a little, it will not give your eye quite the spot to rest on that's just brown, except for this is so terrible, so depressing. But, you know, Mrs. Doubtfire, she's pretty cute. I can't seem to talk her out of stepping in there. Another thing I'm loving is this scabiosa. So you can see it's all flopped over in the rain, but so pretty. And I come out here, it is so, I deadheaded yesterday, and I can see already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that I already need to deadhead from yesterday. It just blooms and blooms and blooms and blooms. And I recommend it. I couldn't make it last through the summer last year, so I treat this like an annual, but it's a long-lasting annual. It was beautiful for a really long time. And I've got a couple of little, you know, I had a lot of cosmos come up just from last year. I didn't plant them this year, and oh, this Amy's fallen over in the rain, but they're starting to bloom. And I think they're not churning out, these ivy geraniums are not churning out the flowers that they have been. They still look fabulous, but they're not just the powerhouses that they were a month ago. So I may move things around. When it kind of poops out, I may put something, I try to put sort of a showstoppery plant right here, so that you can, you know, sort of out in the middle to display it. And so I may move those when they kind of poop out. But the begonia, goodness, look at that. Isn't that fabulous? I don't know why it's so lopsided. You never know. Here's that Gulf Coast penstemon that I bought the little ones of. And you can see it does look like even with the speckles, a tiny, tiny, tiny little foxglove. But it will bloom all year. And so if I can get a little patch going, I think that'll be a better choice for the garden. And then, oh my goodness, look at the combo of the Gulf Coast penstemon and this Salvia uliginosa. It's such a wonderful little combination. This thing is showing no signs of stopping. This is my newest ivy geranium. And it's just fabulous. And holding this spot because it's just nothing quite came up here that I planted. And then I also love the Salvia uliginosa in combination with this pink. Let's see if I can get it and show the right colors with this pink penta. I really like that combo as well. And you can see the ones that I put, I just sort of put that support over the top of an individual plant, and it sure is standing up better here. Now, granted, it has rained, but all this Salvia uliginosa does flop. But to me, it's worth it. It's blue, it grows in the shade, it lasts, it comes back every year. So it's worth it to me, even though it flops over. But in the future, I may put some more supports in it. And that's, of course, the Salvia amistad, incredible as ever. And then I got lots of neat. I'm happy that it's all self-sown, all this cleome, but they all turned out to be sort of the same color. You know, it was in a variety pack, and so I'm glad this patch is mostly the same color. I'm still loving this big old diamond frost euphorbia in this pot there's a little support under there. You can see the cyclamen I had in there has pooped out, and I just couldn't fit it through the support. I couldn't dig it in or plant it, but I do have this little ivy just stuck in a pot in there because I didn't want to lift this. It's sort of alive, but I think I'll try to tuck something in there. But I do love that, like that. Here's that society garlic. That's super delicate. It doesn't love me. It's very hard for me to grow. I think, other people have good luck with it. But I think it's really delicate and beautiful. Now, I still haven't cut down. You can see how terrible the side of the garage looks. I'm gonna cut all of this. This is gonna get cut down. It just didn't make it. It was so terrible 3 years ago in the freeze. And then this year with the freeze, it just has not bounced back. So that's all coming off. I've got 3 new pots of vines down there. I've already forgotten the name of them. They were suggested by Joshua over at Joshua's Native Plants. And I've forgotten the name of them already. But this hasn't happened yet. It's just a big job I'm gonna actually get help with. And look at this amazing oak leaf hydrangea. I mean, from last year with its one sad flower, I'm so happy about this. I'm so happy about it. Look at this. I mean, it's just awesome. So happy. And here's my, this is the pipe vine that I had Kevin, my pipe vine swallowtail butterfly. He did eat off of one of these leaves. He liked the little leaves better of that pipe vine, but he did eat this kind of leaf. And I have a pipe vine swallowtail caterpillar now who does not like this leaf. And he's looking a little weird today. I don't know what's the matter with him, if anything. But he has just turned his nose up at that kind of leaf. He's like, I'll starve, thank you. And I gave this olive tree a kind of a hard haircut, even though it had new shoots on it. I'm trying to make this into a topiary ball. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I've got lots of new growth. I'm not letting anything above this grow. I trim off everything below it, and these look great. Here's again volunteer tomatoes. Look at that. I do think this little white euphorbia looks really pretty in that black pot. I think that looks really sweet together. give you one little look back here. I keep popping back here every day to see if any of this columbine, the native columbine, is blooming. Maybe it's not getting enough sun. It sure looks pretty though with that gray-green leaf in there. Thanks for looking at all of my stuff, you guys. All of your kind comments. I love hearing about your garden and getting ideas, and I love it when I have a question or a comment that I don't know about something, and you guys give me advice and wisdom, and I always appreciate it. And thank you so much. Y'all have a great week. Bye-bye.